Hi, everyone. This is Greg from Shadow Hunters, and we're here tonight with the Shadow Hour. And this is our last show of the year. This is going to be our Christmas show. So tonight we have two very important guests, two ladies that we've all known around here for quite some time, come from Florida, and that's Terri Rody and Tracy Watts.
Oh, hi. I was in the kitchen.
She was in
I thought I didn't know where you were at.
No, sorry.
I'm gonna go turn that light off right there.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought I had a second.
Yeah, you did. I was just going to talk about little stuff. I could talk about it at the end. That's no biggie.
Hi.
Hi, let's
Terri and Tracy, Terri Rody and Tracy Watts, two ladies from Florida from ESP Paranormal.
No, wait. Sorry, honey. We have to clarify. We are ESP Explorers
of Spirit.
Explorers of Spirit.
Yeah. There is
another team. Yeah,
that is ESP Paranormal.
Wow, I would have really got myself killed on that one.
We would have been.
I apologize. Well, anyway, I've been following these two ladies from.
Our biggest fan.
We love you.
One of your fans. I mean, it's some of the things you've done on a lot of your tours. When you've gone up the East Coast or you've gone across. I can remember you were at a fort up in Massachusetts or New Hampshire or something like that back in the day, and a lot of great places. And
all over, yeah.
We came to the conclusion. I came to the conclusion that one day I would like to go ahead and try to do that same kind of thing, but I'd have to have somebody that would, compliment me as far as what we would be doing, as two people. And
that's super important.
Yeah.
And we talk about that all the time, that because we've traveled with other people before, lots of them at different times. And it's really an art to have it mastered to where you can travel with somebody and not kill each other. We travel so well together.
Yeah, we really do.
Yeah.
And it's funny because there were days, and
once I grow on you, then everyone loves me.
Yeah.
Terri, did you ever want to lock Tracy in a closet in one of the real spooky houses or vice versa?
No, but I have wanted to wake Tracy up before.
She snores. Yes, she does.
She does.
And she also says really evil things when she has nightmares
when she sleeps.
Not lately.
No. Well, I haven't slept with you lately, but
Yeah.
But the thing is, she actually almost tried to murder me in one of her.
Yeah. I said I wasn't her.
She also cussed, so you don't have to say those words. But
I had my most evil.
I was scared of her.
Yes.
I'm not scared in most of the haunted places we go in, but what she said to me that day, I was like, okay, maybe I should start bringing protection from her.
We'll be doing this.
Yeah.
As I say, I don't know where my thing is, but I have my protection charm.
I had an evil voice coming out.
It was very evil. No,
that's I learned part of that from when I fished all the time, and I had this great partner. I had two great partners, and I lost the first one, and the second one is still. If I need to go, he's my person of choice, just because I know he's got my back and I have his.
Right.
Absolutely.
And
that's how it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we get each other's little quirks and idiosyncrasies. It's thank goodness we're both kind of night owls. So neither one of us wants to come back home after an investigation or even just back to the hotel after driving all day. Neither one of us is ready to go to bed. So that worked well because that could be, it was with Doc because Doc always wanted to go to bed. And it was like, yeah, we're not actually ready to go to bed.
And if you stayed up past his bedtime and were sharing a space with him.
Scotty! Hi,
Scotty, there.
we were just talking about you. Your ears have been ringing. We came up with a new show for you too, Scotty. We'll tell you about it later.
There you go.
Has to do with me. We're going to work it out. It's good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But,
That would pay us back if we stayed up late.
5 a.m.
Absolutely.
He would decide to and not leave the room or the space. No, he would open up every window,
turn on all the lights,
and start reading a newspaper right there.
Yeah.
Like, really? And turn up the TV as loud as he could.
well, remember when we went to Pollock? He fell asleep at Pollock in the hallway.
Yes. Every investigation we did, he would ask like whoever was like the owner of the property or the person that was in charge, the docent of the museum, anyone. And he'd be like, okay, what room is the most haunted? And then they'd tell him and he's like, all right, I'll see you later. And he'd go to that room.
That's right.
And he'd go to sleep.
Yeah.
We used to say that was his sleep investigating therapy.
Yeah, he used to dream things, and that's what we tell people in private investigations when he would do that. But
but he'd say, "I'm doing this on purpose. If they want to talk to me, they'll wake me up." So
Yeah.
So you brought up your bucket list before.
Yeah.
What are the top 5 locations? Can you on number 1, can you tell us them, or should we bypass that?
I'd like somebody to sponsor me to go to one of them. It's a little far. But I've never been to Italy, and I've always wanted to go to Italy because I'm half Italian and my dad's side of the family was Italian. Tracy has been to Italy.
Is off the
very
chain.
jealous of that.
We're gonna go.
But I want to go to Pavaglia Island, the one that
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
go there. Yeah. I want to go there.
I was in Rome for 5 days.
I will never reach, but it's up there anyway.
Scotland is also, and
we thought we'd make it over there when we were in Ireland.
Yeah. Ireland, when we were in Ireland, Scotland was like, okay, let's go across the.
Yeah, that's what Doc wanted to do.
But there's so much in Ireland. I mean, there's like to go back.
We never even made it to Northern Ireland because that's like a whole nother place. And we had friends over there that kept saying, well, you're coming up here, right? And we just didn't.
But I think what's top right now in the United States, as far as I'm concerned, is the farmhouse. I want to go see Annie's farm.
Yeah, but we're working on that one. That one's gonna probably happen.
Yeah, this summer. We're kind of making that part of our Northeast.
Yeah.
Northeast.
Yeah, we're gonna do the Northeast. And
I know a guy in Georgia who's he's a member of the Fortean Society, and he's right on the Georgia-Florida border in Saint something. But he has a lot of those cemeteries like what you guys were investigating, and I can't remember where they had either fences around the family plots or they had brick walls.
Well, we did a lot of them in Savannah. We did a lot also in New Orleans, yeah.
And there was another place we went that had that kind of.
Yeah. God.
I don't know.
I figured that you always could open up the gate.
Where have you been? I'm like, just look on the website.
Yeah,
I can't really remember.
We'll start going, and then we start remembering.
I know. We're like, we've been there. Remember? Yeah.
But you guys all worked in the education system, so you should still have memories. I don't.
Oh, no. That's why we don't. Mm-mm. Okay, we just pajama day, okay?
Pajama day on the day before winter break.
Yeah, I'm elementary. Okay, she's middle school.
I'm middle school.
They're a little
11 to 14. Oh, they do other things that are so fun though.
Yeah. They do. Although I did have a 5-year-old read a book in my library the other day, and as he was reading a shark book, he says the man takes the woman's clothes off and kisses her boobs, and I said, come here. And I said, I want you to go tell our principal that little story you just read. So he sat in the office for 2 days now. It's like, okay, so yeah, they start young now. Yeah.
Wow, it's something else.
Yeah, so it's like even me being awake at this time on a Friday night's major.
It is pretty good because she has this rule. I didn't tell you about it, Greg, but her rule is that like on Friday night, she will not go anywhere really.
I don't make plans.
Do anything. Like Friday night is her chill night. Like I just got finished with school and leave me alone. Okay. And so she's like, okay, so when's Nick and Greg's show? I'm like, Friday.
Change it.
Yeah. After the long week of all kinds of Christmas craziness. Yeah. It's okay though. I'm good.
But the saddest thing that I learned about middle schooler, I learned things about middle schoolers every day, but the saddest thing I learned at Christmas for me, because of what we do, is that my kids, I had to decorate something. I just wasn't, I'm Grinchy this year, so I wasn't in the mood for that. And I had for Halloween, I decorated all my windows of the library with tons of the haunted places that we had investigated. So I just did all the windows, and then I put the books that matched the places up there so the kids would check them out. And even the teachers were walking by in the hallway and reading, and then they'd be like, did you really go there?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I thought, and then they finally told me in December, like those windows have to come down, and I'm like, darn.
December?
Well, whatever. I stretched it. I like to stretch Halloween for at least like another month. And so then of course my assistant principal goes, you can do a Christmas Carol. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I did it last year. So that's what I did. I did the ghost story for Christmas. And so I did all my windows in the Christmas Carol with all the symbolism and all the different spirits and what they represented and all that. And my students in TV production, which are like usually kind of with it kids that have done things that maybe other kids haven't, they all said to me, what's the Christmas Carol? And I'm like, you've never read it or seen it? Are you kidding me? What about Mickey's Christmas Carol? Have you seen that one? No. They had no idea. Somebody said, like one of the teachers is like, Scrooge. And they're like, who's Scrooge?
Geez.
No. Like Charles Dickens, in fact, I was reading it. He wrote it in like it was some insane time. I don't even know. Like, I don't know. 1843,
I thought it was the 1800s.
1843, I think it was the date on the poster I put up. I was like, and it's so well done.
Yeah. Wow. Ghosts.
I know.
Yeah. When you think about Christmas time, people on Christmas Eve used to sit around and tell ghost
that's
stories.
What they did.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So this is the Christmas show, right?
Yes. So
Christmas show.
That's
ghost
right.
Stories. Yeah.
May Stringer House.
Yeah.
Tell everybody about it.
So everybody knows about it now because it went on the real shows,
No.
Way back in the day, like 11 or 12 years ago when we started investigating it, and nobody had ever heard of it, nor had they heard of Brooksville. And it was always insane. It was one of those places that you could go to. The energy was so good. I mean, I remember at least a decade ago, Paranormal Caught on Camera, I think it was, wanted to, or My Ghost Story, I think it was My Ghost Story, wanted to do an episode there, and they came down and they did like a preliminary interview, and they didn't put us on because they said it wasn't scary enough. And I'm like, because it's not scary, it's amazing, and the ghosts they're fun to interact with, and but no, it's not.
Come and hold my hand type.
Exactly. And you'd walk in and you'd feel at home, and you could just about feel like being back in the time and the day. Except
there were a few times that at one point I literally got locked.
Oh,
in.
Yeah, you did.
I got locked in.
Yeah, you did.
Everybody was outside. the mace stringer, you do not want to go to the bathroom by yourself.
Yeah, it's a little
because
creepy over there. Yeah.
The bathroom door won't open.
Won't open, yeah.
And so everybody was outside. And I think it was the last time I was there.
I think it was too.
I went to open the door to go outside and it wouldn't open. And I'm like, well, what is the deal? Is it locked? It wasn't locked, but I couldn't open it. And I got a little panicky thinking, this is crazy. Why won't the... And, you know, I start looking over my shoulder going, okay, I feel like somebody's watching me now. And so, yeah, it can still creep you out if you're in there by yourself.
And the last time that I was there, went with some friends of mine.
Oh, man.
And we
crazy.
And at one point, we will do a small edited portion of this and throw it up on probably the YouTube channel or maybe our Facebook. But
okay. I have the video.
Yeah, she has it, but we have to be careful with what's being talked about because I don't want to, you know, there's some things that I talked about, you know, because it was a more personal experience, and we really felt that we made a connection to Doc, and that was probably the first time, except for when we're with Maria, because Maria always connects. And so we were doing a little table tipping, and and we really felt like we were talking to Doc. The answers we were getting, the validation that we were getting, and things that, like the reaction, I don't know that I would have gotten that kind of reaction from anybody else for certain triggers that we talked about. So
that makes me very happy for you.
It was awesome. But the thing is, since some of it was very personal, where we talked about like friends of ours and people that missed him and blah, blah, blah. Like I wouldn't want to put that stuff out there. Right. But I would, like, to me, it was probably up there with like one of the most shocking experiences I've had, and not because it was scary, just because I like to wrap my head around things, and I really couldn't wrap my head around it. Like I really, to this day, I still don't, I don't know that I get it. I don't really get the whole table thing. I have always been a believer in energy, and I question, is it the people on the table and the energy that they bring, or is the energy they bring just helping to establish the connection, you know, with another spirit? Is it spirit energy? Are we somehow manifest? You know, like, I don't know. And anytime I have to touch anything, and I say this all the time when I use dowsing rods or anything, if I have to touch it, then I have to question it, because I don't ever want to feel like somehow I caused something to happen. Like so I'm very leery about anything that's human controlled, I guess you would say, or something like that. But I will tell you that this experience, and Tracy has not only watched the video, but the last time that we did something like this, we just brought her in, FaceTimed her, and
I was blown away because I wasn't with her either one of those times. Now I'm hoping that we'll have that same kind of, we're going back to a place in DeLand that she was.
We got some experiences
and there. I will be there this time, and I will be part of the table thing. But
I'll tell you, I can't explain it. I mean, not that
I was blown away
so
by
much
the FaceTime.
I can't explain, but like, I've seen tables move before. I've even been on tables that moved before, but never in my life have I been on a table that moved with not only just two people on it, but just me. And not only moved, but the tabletop unscrewed itself from its base. And I had to grab it to stop it from possibly flinging off. And it blew me away. I mean, there were points where, and the video is not super high quality or anything. It was actually just like an afterthought after we had done it for an hour or so. We're like, hey, you know what? We should have taped this, you know? And so we threw it up quickly and we couldn't focus on anything. So, you see like it's sketchy, but you can totally see like what's happening. And also you can see there are points when all of us lift our hands off the table and the table still tips. It doesn't make sense. It's crazy.
So you're saying this happened with Doc?
Yeah. It started at
Started at the May Stringer house. And, but that was the only time I felt it was Doc.
Yeah.
I felt very strongly. In fact, all of us did that were there. We felt that it was Doc.
He was never really a prankster, was he?
Well, maybe, but I think more in his younger days. But yeah, he would come up with things sometimes. But I think we felt it was definitely him there because we had so many experiences with him there.
Yeah,
and he liked to go there because it wasn't that far, and he felt comfortable there, and he just liked it, and he liked to mess with Gary in the attic, and so yeah.
That's really awesome. That's really awesome. So for equipment.
Oh yeah. Equipment.
We need we should touch bases on that because you're two people.
We are.
And you have to have your go-tos. How do you go ahead and manage to go ahead? You set K2s all over the place and
no.
Well,
sensors or
well, we have we like the EDI meters
a lot.
Mine broke, brand new, doesn't work now. Hers is still alive and kicking.
Mine's old and it's still kicking.
Yeah. We have a REM pod.
Mine's broke.
Mine works. So between the two of us, we have like a REM pod, an EDI meter.
Yeah.
We use dowsing rods.
I'm trying to think of it. I do have a K2 I throw out once in a while.
Recorder.
And I just bought that thing that we don't really know how to use yet. I can't even remember what it was. It looked cool, so I bought it. I don't know.
It's not a portal, is it?
Yeah, the tri-field meter.
Yeah.
Tri-field.
We just started. And, we have so much other stuff.
And we like Petey.
Yeah, we love
the dog,
Petey, but he's
the
not
trigger
working.
object.
He's not working.
We have to send him back.
No. Bob is supposed to fix him.
He's got to get fixed. But we don't use a whole lot of equipment.
We do a lot of old school weird stuff.
Yeah, we like the equipment to help verify that there is something. And we've seen some crazy stuff at the Octagon Hall.
See that?
It looks like
It's a bottle.
See what's inside it?
No.
What is it?
I'm trying to get the light off it. There's a pendulum in there.
Oh.
See it in there?
Oh, I see it now.
Oh, that's cool.
It's called a spirit bottle.
A spirit bottle. I love it. We can make that.
Yeah.
Or you can send it to us.
That was done by a friend of ours from up here that is now I'm going to forget his name.
Yeah.
I hate that. It happens to us all the time. We're like, yes.
His name is Joe Diamond.
Oh,
he's a mental, how could you say, magician.
Oh,
he does mental magic.
I love that.
And all that, and he's been around us for quite some time, and those were his. And it's a great idea because you put it on the table in front of you, and if like you were talking about table tipping, you can keep your hands on the table. Everybody would be there, and you ask it questions, and just like you would set up with a regular pendulum,
right?
And there's actually a map now that's out.
Sorry about that, guys. We're good now. I'm back in.
Okay.
We missed it. What happened?
I don't know. The camera went out, but I still saw myself on the thing. But I was like, how is that possible when I'm the one hosting the broadcast?
You were out there for.
That's what I mean. It was probably Doc playing tricks.
It probably was.
To God, I was
Because we just talked about that. Yeah.
We were just.
I heard you guys talking. I was like, oh, come on, I want to get in and chime in, but I can't.
They have like a little template that sits underneath the bottle.
Okay.
And it actually has answers on it. Like rephrase, yes,
Right.
try again, no, maybe, yes, will not answer.
Huh.
And it actually lets the pendulum do all that for you.
And shaking and making that. I like that.
Yeah, I
idea.
like that too.
Well, I shake automatically.
Yeah. Well, see, pendulums, I don't trust myself. I can do the
Right.
dowsing rods because I can steady, but pendulum,
Yeah.
no, not good at.
Yeah, I don't do dowsing rods either. One of the guys in our group, his name is Dan Botts. He's on here tonight, and Dan was always when I would go ahead and investigate, we'd do our local historical society.
Mm-hmm.
And it was we used to start doing it before we even brought everybody else in on it, just to check it out. And I would have him do the dowsing rods. And one day we were at the very end, and the story goes, he had been using dowsing rods for about 2 different days. And it was like, he was like, okay. And we said, okay, well, we're going to go ahead and leave now. And we'll see you later on. And just like that, they started the helicopter in his hands. And he freaked out because it was an emphatic no, don't leave.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Well, and I think it was when we were at Willow's Weep, but not last time, the first time we were there. And we were on with George. And he got us to use a candle, very much like a pendulum. And we because there was the house was still, very eerily still. And so there was no wind movement or air at all. So the candle was like perfectly still. And then we used it in that way, to bend.
So you're talking about George Lopez, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I still remember that experiment he did with all of us when we all went to Bachelor's Grove.
Bachelor's Grove, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I watched it when you guys were doing it live, and when you were doing explain the group consciousness to him.
Collective consciousness. Yeah, we had a lot of good experiences with that, especially at Benton Family Farms. It was one of the first sessions that we had done with George. So the idea behind it is very much like, I guess, the old-fashioned seance, actually, because you're gathered together in a circle, not necessarily near a table, but you're gathered together, and you basically kind of go into like a little trance, like just by the words that are being spoken and the things that you're being asked to think about or feel or do. It puts you like in that meditative state a little bit. And then once you're in that state, and once everyone, and that's the idea of the collective, is that everyone kind of comes to the same place at the same time. And then being in that place that you are in, that it supposedly has a lot of, spirit activity, then hopefully if you get to this place in your mind, along with everybody else in your group, then you can connect not only with those spirits easier, but together. So it's kind of almost a building. Like, I think of the old fashioned, because we're teachers, so I always go back to teacher references, but like when you're a little kid and you sit around the table and you have a paper and a pencil and someone passes it to you and you have to finish the story and then you pass it to somebody else. That's kind of what collective consciousness is like, because somebody will bring up, I see a man in a black hat and he has a somber looking face and he looks forlorn and there's a little boy by his side. And is anybody seeing that? And then, if somebody else sees something like that, they'll chime in and try to take the story further. Like, why do you think he's sad? What do you think's going on? They used to live here at the house. And sometimes it's really crazy because when a lot of people start like chiming in, and we've had people on the table, well, not on the table, but in the group that have actually drawn like what they've seen and then showed it to somebody else, and it's uncanny.
Yeah.
You did it at one of the places that I watched you guys live one night. I remember that. And I remember the Bachelor Grove one because George was on the phone.
Yes, he used to be our man in the box. That's what we always called him, because he was always on the phone and he would lead us through the activity. And he also, what a lot of people don't know about George is that he does a lot of remote viewing. So even though he wasn't with us physically, a lot of times he'd be there mentally. So he would participate with us as well.
Do you remember what he asked the whole group to do?
To point in the direction.
Yeah. Where you felt the energy.
Yeah.
And everybody had their eyes closed, and then everybody went ahead and pointed. It was like 9 out of 10, I think.
Yeah. In fact, we had that. I think we still have that episode on our the Benton Farms one, where, and even after the first question, I think the second one was a spirit had walked into the room where everybody felt the presence of a spirit, and they said, point to where you feel the spirit is. And we all had our eyes closed. I felt very strongly that the spirit was right by me, but I thought to myself, you always get that center of the universe thing. Of course, I think it's by me because, it's all about me, right?
Everybody pointed.
And everyone pointed to me.
Yeah,
it was like,
Terry was
like, everyone was pointing at me.
We actually, when we were all at Pollock Hospital with Shadow Hunters, we started to do a collective. Do you remember that, Nick?
We did.
And I think everybody was really getting into that mode of meditative state, and then somebody came bursting through the door because they lost their phone or something.
Yeah, and it just kind of
broke up.
I still remember that because remember when we were there and I all of a sudden started to feel very, very nauseous, and like stuff was just spinning and all that stuff. And Lisa took me out of the room. She's like, let's go. She gave me a little bit of sugar. And I was, okay, everything's back to normal again. I think it might have been during that time because I think we were all in the men's death ward.
Yeah, we were. We were in, we were in that.
In that big room.
That auditorium.
With like the pews or the.
Yeah, the men's death ward,
Oh,
okay. Yeah. And I remember because I was like, oh my God, I think we're all feeling something here because I was doing it and it was all, I think we would have had a major, but when somebody came bursting through the door, the energy
everything just went away. And they still have the doll room, by the way.
I was going to say, Nick and your dolls.
Yes.
That's why we always dedicated that at Post Town. Every time we're in the doll room, we talk about you.
But now they have it where the doll room is a maze. And you look to your right and there's dolls. You look to your left and there's dolls.
I bet you love it.
And that is where our gear, of all places, we put the gear in the doll room.
Of course you did.
I can't do this.
No.
It was fine. You know that. It turned out perfectly. But the part about Pollock that was really crazy for me the first time you guys were all there was the fact that the signal kept on dropping out. And it was always dropping out at these, and you're going, no.
Yeah, we did have a lot of trouble that weekend with connecting. Yeah.
Especially in the basement.
Yeah.
You can't get anything in that basement. Forget it.
Well, wasn't that where you and Patrick were on the stage and you got groped?
No, that was
they did. No, you did.
It wasn't the stage.
It was that.
It was the area.
I remember.
Was it the women's ward?
Women's unit or something? Yeah.
It was the women's unit.
Yep, and that's when Pat and I got groped. I still remember Tracy saying, "How often do you get to measure men's genitalia on a ghost hunt?" with the thing going like this at the end.
Yeah, that's right. We were going like this, and it was that was fun. Yeah.
And then that's when the spool started moving by itself.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, well, we got groped for the first time, not last summer, summer before. Because last summer we never made it back to St. Albans.
We actually got groped.
Well, yeah, we got groped in another place.
At the Heyman House in West Virginia. And then St. Albans, it was just full out like, I was speechless. That was like,
and because until it happens to us, we don't really buy into it. I mean, it's like,
we don't believe it.
We just don't. And I remember when Brian Cano used to talk about Pennhurst, and he used to say, Pennhurst made me their bitch because he got groped there. And I used to think, yeah, right. That's never happened to me, so it can't be real.
That's what I mean. Once it happens to you, it's a whole different story. And Pat and I still talk about that.
It's
St. Albans was really fun.
St. Albans is the bomb. It is. Yeah.
Yeah, we went there. I went there with GRS, and we were there. We did Shawnee Amusement Park that trip.
Oh, we tried to get in there. We went over, but we didn't get to get in.
How was that?
That was very unusual because it was mostly Native American.
Yes.
That was primarily the big force there. And I hope they're not listening, but the people that owned it wanted to protect their spirits.
Yeah.
So when they started out, they did a extra long orientation or tour to make sure that our time was going to be less.
Nice.
Just because of, and they could have went ahead and came right up in the beginning and just said that, and everybody would have honored it.
Right.
But people were out of our two groups, GRS, and there was Ghost Head Soup was there, and it was like people were leaving to go on the investigation, and the mother was still talking. And I just stayed there with about 3 other people, and everybody else was gone. And it was like, she's here to tell us about her place. The least thing we could do is go along with her wishes.
Yeah.
And she is they're remarkable people, without a doubt. I'm not trying to disrespect them in any way, shape, or form. It's just the fact the way it came about was, if it was brought out in the beginning, it would have been better.
Yeah. Well, and plus, we can't help it. We get to a place that's cool. We want to go check it out.
Yeah.
We want to go explore it.
Experience your own.
They were the family that originally was there. I want to say there were 5 kids, and they were the first white homesteaders in this valley. And they had the river that ran, and that kind of stuff. So there was going to be Indians around. Well, they had everything set up, and the husband went off with 2 of his friends. They had to go hunt up some stuff and go to another little village or something and do some stuff. Anyway, they were gone, and the Indians attacked the house. They killed the wife. They killed the daughter, and they killed one of the sons. And they took the last son with them. So the husband came home. He sees everything that's all massacred. And he talks to some neighbors, and they said, yeah, they left with your kid. So he gets a couple of his friends together, and they go, and he got to the camp where they were at just in time to see him burning his son at the stake.
Oh, you're kidding me.
No.
That's hard.
And so they just started going crazy, and he came back, and he rebuilt what he had and tried to, and he has the original grave sites there, and they just posted gravestones on them about 4 years ago when they found them.
Wow.
And there's a one whole section that they started to not to develop. They started to open up a little bit before we had gotten there, and they had run into bones and stuff. And
Wow.
the archaeologists came out and everything, and it was a Native American burial ground, so they had to close that whole section down.
No.
We still need to get you two in my backyard.
All right, Nick, let's go to your backyard.
We have the Native American burial ground back there. And I just got a text message from Pat.
Yeah.
We both may be flying out there in June.
Woo!
I think for the first time, because we usually always go to South Dakota.
Right.
Because we have a good friend out there. But I think we're going to skip South Dakota this year and come visit you guys in Florida.
I think
Oh,
you
Oh, there you go.
Awesome. Yes.
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 We just got to figure out how to get all the paranormal equipment on a plane. We didn't have problems before. We were fine. They let us bring the REM pod. They let us bring the Melmeter and all that. It's just now that we have a little bit more stuff, and Pat actually just purchased. Greg, did you look at the group chat?
Yeah.
So Pat ended up going out and purchased the original Boo Bear.
Oh, yeah. I remember we used to work with
So
one.
he had the Boo Bear Junior that I had purchased, but I guess he purchased like the big one that talks and all that kind of stuff. So we're excited to see that one.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we want to be able to bring.
Yes. Yes. We had experiences that,
Boo Bear.
because here's the thing. When you're trying to do an EVP session
So
and you're listening for spirit voices and you hear, it's chilly in here.
we wound up talking to Boo Bear.
we did. We're like having a conversation. We're sorry. We'll turn the heat on. You know, we're trying to get an EVP, but we're just talking to Boo Bear.
It's like,
Right.
okay,
Scotty Rourke, right? I am the Boo Bear.
Well, we had Ghosty, which was very much like Boo Bear. He also stopped working.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We got a lady watching tonight from Minnesota,
I
Candy
saw that. Candy.
Phrase. Do you know her?
No, I don't. Well, I don't think so. Do I? Oh.
But yeah,
Minnesota, I know that.
Yeah.
hopefully we can figure out how to get all the equipment on the plane without them being like, what is this stuff? But I heard people.
Well, we always, so this is our thing when we go on the plane. So we try to take everything that we want in our carry-ons, not checked in bags, because we don't trust any of that. So before we go through the metal detector, when we're starting to put our stuff up there, I just walk ahead. It's like a routine now. I take out my card and I hand it to all the people at the security desk. And I say, I'm a paranormal investigator. These bags are all full of paranormal investigating equipment. We will be glad to show you how anything works, but please be very careful if you try to like take it all out, because
Oh, okay.
and then we take the batteries out usually because they prefer that. But then a lot of times we've had so many times when we've had to literally have tutorials on the REM pod. Yeah.
Yeah, they want to know.
They wanna
'cause
know.
The REM
Yeah.
pod looks like a little
It looks
mini bomb.
like
you
it's a
know?
bomb.
Right.
Yeah, looks
They're
like a mine.
Oh, it's about this one, you know. So-
Right. Yeah, when we went to South Dakota, they just let everything go through, and Pat and I are looking like, oh God, what are we gonna do?
Yeah, you and Pat look like you're possibly extremely dangerous.
yes.
Little Pat.
Yeah.
Just wear a little elf hat and you could be the naughty elf on the shelf.
Yes.
You know?
Because the only thing I could do this. Hold on. See if I
Oh,
can-
here he goes. Here we go. What has he got on?
Oh, no, he's got
What
jammies.
Pajamas.
He's got
Jeez.
jammies.
I'm glad you got pants
So
on.
do I. You can't see them because they're on the bottom half. But it was pajama day at school, so
She hasn't changed.
I haven't
yet.
changed yet. I went straight from school to the acupuncturist, straight from the acupuncturist to the grocery store, then here, and then we're cooking dinner and talking to you.
Why did you pick up the nickname of Thelma and Louise?
Oh.
I don't know, but it sure has stuck now because that's what like everybody calls
because sometimes we
would drive off a cliff.
Well, I am the same calm,
Don't do that.
rational one. I pull her out of.
Okay,
there
sometime. Yes, that's good. Wear that. They won't.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
tell them it's your COVID mask.
that's right.
COVID might come in your eye. You wanna, yeah.
No, Terry, we are. What do you call that? We are extreme. We are. We're extremists, anyways. We're highly sensitive people, and then we get bored easily, and so then we go to extremes. If somebody says don't go in there, that's dangerous.
I can't help it. And so I always say, please, like I ask people, but they think it's funny. But I say, please don't dare me to do something.
Oh, never dare
Please
her.
just don't. Okay.
And it's not even that. You know how many times I've talked her down? I had to pull her off of a ladder that she was climbing this ladder
Perfectly
that was
fine.
rickety. And she'd already fallen and hurt herself.
Well, yeah, I do tend to hurt myself.
Yes. Well, okay. So on our trips, I crashed my
Ankle a couple of times.
ankle really bad a couple of times.
You face planted with your camera.
Oh yeah, I've
More than
ruined two really nice cameras from falling.
Yeah.
And
I fell down a
she
flight of stairs and fractured my hip.
fractured a hip.
Yeah.
So,
And we've all broken toes. We like to break toes.
Now, one summer it was all the same. One summer, broken toe, trashed hip.
Yeah.
It was just. But we just kept going. And yes, I have pulled her out of windows and said, no, Terry, that's illegal. We'll get in there legally. And literally, what happened? We did.
I figure I have this picture in my head.
Fun.
Yes.
It's fun.
I have this picture in my head of you two standing back to back in the dark. Walking in unison.
You know, it's I mean, but I mean, there's things like, okay, so like Sloss Furnace. Back in the day, like a long time ago, like Sloss Furnace didn't really used to be all roped off and everything. But if you go there now, like you can barely get to any of the towers or anything anymore because they're like chained and like big deadbolts. And we thoroughly believe that was partially my fault. Yeah.
That would be a fun place to go.
It was more fun when you could climb all over the place. I have pictures.
The one place I was referring to, the Arcadia Mental
Institution, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, nobody's investigated it, but we have. But the day that we wound up almost investigating, she was going to go in through the window.
I was halfway in the window.
And I'm like, no, this really is a bad idea. So we wound up literally 2-3 months later talking to a security guard that worked there who said, come on.
Yeah.
And he took us. And then the owner contacted us 6 months later and offered
or more.
He actually wanted us
and he actually knew we had investigated it because he had actually watched all the footage because there's cameras everywhere.
Yeah, there was security.
But he did not let us know that. So he was all like, oh, do you want me to show you around? Because like, you haven't been here, right? We're like, oh no.
Yeah, it was so funny. We found out later
that he had known the whole time
that we had already been through there.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
he wanted us to buy it.
Okay.
I'm like, do you understand that we're teachers? Okay.
Right.
And it's like, he's like, you could do this and this and this. And like, look, dude, we just want to investigate.
For only 40,000 here and 90,000 over there. And if you put in another 30 here and we're like, piece of cake.
No,
right.
That's not what we wanted. But it was funny because we did get in there. We were invited. We did have activity.
Yes.
And we promised the gentleman he's so sweet. We said that,
that we would never put the video out.
Post it.
And now he says post away. It doesn't matter anymore.
But we still haven't done it because apparently they arrest everybody that breaks into the place.
That was many years ago.
So,
There's got to be a statute of limitations on paranormal investigation.
yeah, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. We didn't break in though.
No, we
were there
didn't. We were
legally.
actually invited.
You guys already signed the waivers and everything, right? Tonight?
You're funny.
Yeah.
We don't have waivers.
Ireland, they don't.
Oh my
do
God.
waivers. There's
Like,
no waivers.
It's hilarious. Like, people would take us to the tops of castles and say, "Oh, do you want to just go to the top?" And we're like, yes. And so we'd be at the top, no guardrails. You're just like looking out over the town. You're bending over, going, we never signed a waiver. Look where we are."
These stairs that only one person at a time can go up, and they're twisty and they're
They made them that way for
uneven.
the fighting.
Yeah,
and stuff.
the steps aren't even, so you might go and then
And there's no like lights in most of these things.
and
It's
there's
awesul.
no waivers. It's
No
like,
waivers.
Just
We did the lighthouse in Ohio like that in Cleveland, the one up off of Lake Erie.
Okay.
And the same thing, Dale wouldn't even get he wouldn't get outside on the top because all it was is steel bars and a cable.
Yeah.
And we were,
I'm scared of heights, but yet
you
did good.
fine.
I
You
did good.
Yeah,
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the same thing with the metal stairway going down spiral. That's pretty interesting.
Going up is easy. Coming down
Coming down is
so
not.
much harder.
It's not easy. No.
Yeah, because and
And the steps are all uneven. It's not like a normal stairway where you can kind of predict every 2 steps I'm on the next, but no.
yeah,
Mm-mm.
Well, especially when you're holding paranormal equipment also at the same time.
That too.
True.
Like a
You know,
backpack.
balance.
yeah.
Trying to go on these little stairways. It's great.
So how about maritime investigations, just like we said, the lighthouse? Have you got any, you did one or two.
We did Rose Island Lighthouse. We stayed on the whole island by ourselves with no one else but the lighthouse keeper.
That was really cool.
That was really awesome. And that was because it'll come to me. Oh my God. I just talked to him the other day.
we were at
Chris, we were at Rondina and the other guy that we like really well, the haunting in his school. Oh my God, I can't think. Well, anyways, they were both telling us because they live in that area that, we had one night left and we're like, what should we do? And then they were like, you got to go to Rose Island.
So we did. And we took a ferry to the lighthouse, and you actually sleep there, and there's nobody else. And there were
there were
II
barracks.
bunkers,
And we were gonna sleep in the barracks, but the one thing that Terry doesn't like is birds.
She doesn't like birds.
I don't like birds, and when they fly at me, this is not okay.
There were a lot of birds.
There were so many birds. It was like a bird sanctuary over there, and so they were all like in the barracks and pooping and flying and all. Ew. Yeah.
That's the one that had the long.
As a child, it affected me.
Yeah, it was a long building.
Yes.
Yeah, we did a live from there.
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
And
that was pretty. That was all 1700s too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was old.
It was really pretty. It was full moon night. It was beautiful. It was
and it was
way
great
to end.
because we had our full run of the place. So, like we got to investigate everywhere.
Yeah, we had all the rooms to ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really awesome.
I've noticed too, like you guys do like a lot of, like you were saying, exploring, like looking and stuff like that. I've noticed we've actually started doing that too. You guys have heard of Bloody Mary, right?
Oh,
Bloody Mary, where you look in the mirror and all that.
Yes.
We ended up going to, and if you guys come out here, we'll have to take you there. It's called St. Patrick's Cemetery.
Okay.
And this is originally where Bloody Mary oriented from. Was from Wadsworth, Illinois, which is like 20 minutes from me.
Wow.
And the saying goes that she was a old slave keeper. She would kill slaves under her house and all this stuff, but she was the original Bloody Mary that you look in the mirror and, she's supposed to scratch your face out.
Right.
Well, myself, Pat, and Greg and Sharon were there, and then our new investigator, Diana. Greg and Sharon stayed inside of the cemetery, and we had Pat, Diana, and myself. We went into the woods.
Yeah.
And we found the old foundation of where the original Mary used to live. And they have a very old swimming pool there that they call Devil's Pool, that a lot of like Satan worshipers go there.
Wow.
We saw everything from like, there were clothes all over the place. There was like very, very, very old cars and all that trapped back there and all that. I don't know. I kind of think it's fun just kind of exploring places.
Yeah, we love that.
Even though it's not paranormal, it's still fun exploring.
And history, just go to places where there's so much history.
It is, and it's like you can feel it when you're there.
Yeah, and it may not be
experience it.
You feel energy. Energy doesn't go away. It's manifests in different ways, but there have been some really cool places that we have.
And we've since we were kids, we've been explorers. Like we were always.
Yeah, I was the kid that in the woods.
I mean, I loved to be in the woods.
And there was that abandoned shed house.
Mm-hmm.
I was the first one. I got to go see what's in there.
Absolutely.
Right.
Hey, kids, get off my lawn.
Yeah. The only thing is, now that I'm so close to retirement, I don't want to get arrested and lose my pension. I'm more, I just more wary of breaking and entering and trespassing. It's not that I want to do these things, but I figured that I need to do it legally until I get my pension. And then there you go.
Well, that's what I said when Pat and I go out there. There's a lot of places in Florida. I'm sure we can investigate.
Yes, there are.
We have this prison we go to.
I know. I was going to say there's owls there that fly at you.
Yeah, it's an abandoned prison, and we had the craziest EVP I've ever heard in my life, because we were doing an EVP session, and it's middle of the day,
middle of the day on a sidewalk.
And one of the people that was with us said, I think I just saw somebody. So we went and we investigated, and there was nobody there. So Marie set up her recorder, and we were asking questions, and
we were right by the property records room for the prison.
So we were listening back to the recorder, and you could not hear any of our questions.
No,
nothing.
Like we weren't even on it.
And all you could hear was, there's so much here. There's so much here.
So much is there. So much is there. So much is here. Yeah. And it was like on a loop.
Yeah.
Like when you have like a record that skips.
Yeah.
And it was like, what the hell is that?
What is that? Yeah.
But it was
residual, right?
What?
It's residual, right?
Yeah.
There's so much here. There's so much here.
Yeah.
There's so much here. And we're like, what the hell? That was so bizarre. And that place during the daytime, we've gone there several times, and we got more, we could hear voices.
Yeah.
You could hear them.
And there's so many buildings. So, and they're all like a little bit, like some of them are more like, but they're all like a little bit different. And then, you've got like the dining hall too. And you've got, where they did like the medications and where they allowed the prisoners to exercise. And so there's a lot there that unfortunately the church has been burned down.
The church burned down, and there was a lot, some
people
EVPs.
People were breaking in and doing a lot of
so by the time you come, who knows, because after the church burned, who knows what they'll, if you can even get in there. Before you could go, there were no
and it was fine. You were allowed to. We went one day, and there was some people shooting some little horror flick there. Yeah, it was really,
And now that there's a place in Indiana, Indiana, the Fowler County Jail. Was it Fowler Jail?
Theater.
No,
Fowler.
Yes, it was the Benton County Jail.
Okay.
Fowler Theater and then
Yeah.
the Benton County Jail.
Well, they're right down the street from each other.
Yeah, we were there and literally
That was crazy.
we were with Dwight and we were doing the recorder and we got a heartbeat.
Yeah. I mean, and it wasn't just, it was like being like when I was a medical assistant, I did a lot of like blood pressure and stuff like that. Well, this heartbeat was literally like so magnified. Like you had taken a stethoscope and been like listening to someone's heart.
The neck.
Yeah.
And you know what was real interesting?
I mean, it was.
That jail, when they abandoned it, they left, there's evidence in the evidence room.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Criminal, I mean, it's so cool. It's small. So
Yeah, it's small.
it's very small. I don't know.
You couldn't have a lot of people there.
But that's kind of close to you guys. And the theater itself, that was pretty crazy too, because there was a lot of energy there. I don't know. How far are you from?
I'd like to see us go there.
Yeah.
really
The thing
should.
is, if you,
Willow's Weep is in that area.
yeah.
And the McDonald House.
Oh, the McDonald's house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of that is kind of like a trifecta in that
Yeah.
area, which is
Yeah.
guys could do
Yeah.
a long weekend. And
Now, I would
maybe-
definitely say, though, if you're going to do the theater and the jail, you should like split your team in half, because then that way you won't
Yeah.
have too many people like in each place. 'Cause
Right.
It was like for us, there was only 3 of us, and yet we were bumping into each other at times. So
Yeah, but it's
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
theater was just
Oh,
amazing. The
there's
energy
some
in there.
stuff
and-
going on there.
yeah, I would have loved to have spent more time in
Yeah.
both places. We did them both in one night, and it was more of a just kind of tour and investigate a little bit. But
Right.
I was
Do you have any more ladies that work with you guys like Maria? Marie does, right?
Well, you know what happens is we pick up people. We pick up hitchhikers and things. No, we like to bring people like along to investigate with us, and usually wherever we are, we like to bring people that are connected to whatever building we're doing, because we find that we get a lot more evidence or experiences because they are comfortable already with whatever spirits are there.
Mhm.
So when we're up in Ohio, we love to drag Maria and Bob anywhere that we can, because they're super fun. And then they find, I mean, Maria has like,
Now, she drags.
oh my God, she
sends
drives us. Like she sends us. It's like amazing.
Yeah.
Like I just want to be like, I want to retire and just be like her little puppet or something. That's what I want to be. Like she'll just say, there's a place over here. You should go there, or you should go here. And
Right.
she knows everybody everywhere. And things just fall and come, and then I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, I love to investigate with
Yeah.
Maria, and there's quite a few. Like you guys, we like to investigate with other people.
Yeah.
And explore.
Because, I mean, it's so cool, because even when we were in Ireland and we investigated with a few other teams over there,
Yeah.
you pick up so many neat things like, oh, I really love the way that they did that, or well, that was thought to try that first. And, and sometimes it's just like when you're teaching, like we've both been teaching like way too long already. And so like, you forget so much of the stuff that you did like in the beginning when you were still kind of feeling your way around and trying to figure life out. And so it's the same way when you've been investigating for as many years, and it's like, it's seeing it through new eyes again sometimes, and seeing things
Or
that they're
just
doing. And it's
Sometimes
like,
the energy.
the energy is great. And if you get with the right groups, the energy and that's why I think about energy all the time. It accentuates the situation. And then I always wonder how much of the energy is what we, provide, but it's just,
Right.
I agree with that.
Mhm.
I mean, when we were with Shadow Hunters, you guys, that energy was
electric. It was just
Oh,
electric.
yeah.
We really
We
that was
morphed well together.
that weekend was incredible. We had
Absolutely.
So much fun.
It was. And
So
then
much fun.
the Chicago Con, all the people, I think that's where we met.
Yeah. I mean, there was,
Yeah.
and I just got my books back the other day. I just have had so much stuff just everywhere for the last almost 3 years now. And someone brought me one of my boxes of books that I didn't even realize I still had. And it was just like going back to Chicago because so many of the books I had bought
Yeah.
in Chicago were there. And,
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun.
Dave Schrader was another one that was there.
Dave was there. Dave's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I just voted for him for something. Dave, I voted for you. Okay. I don't know, some awards that they make up, and then they send you.
Yeah,
Then they send you something and say, who do you want to vote for?
the paranormal awards or something like that. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Now we never mentioned Rolling Hills.
Tracy's favorite spot.
I loved Rolling Hills. That place was off the chain.
I'd love to go back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, did you guys have an experience there where you should have had no camera?
We did not film it. Yes, that is correct.
We had stopped for the night. We were done. It was almost, I think it was 3 a.m. We had until, I think we had to be out of there by 4. We were in the kitchen.
Yeah. We love kitchens.
Hanging out. We were all talking, chatting with each other. We had a
really high-powered military laser grid.
Yes, we had that set up. We just lost Nick again.
I see that.
And it was set up, but we were just kind of da-da-da-da.
I want to go to Randolph County Infirmary, by the way, Jen. It's on my list. I can prove it to you. Yeah, I want to go
we never
there.
did finish that list.
No,
but
we
whatever.
didn't. Yeah.
Anyways, we saw a mist form that was just so thick and so large, and
like everybody saw it. It wasn't like
it was
just
a group of 8 of us.
Mm-hmm.
And I also, that was the first time I ever really truly got touched. I felt it right here in my chest. It was just like,
yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, what was that? And I thought, oh, I think I just got touched, and the mist was so thick and so cold, and you could see it so clearly because of the laser.
Clearly.
And Terri went and stood. Okay. This is Terri.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're
so
backwards.
we're backwards. So the laser grid was in one place.
Okay. The laser grid is here. Terry's on the edge.
Yeah, I'm on the edge.
All right.
And I'm just looking because I'm trying to look at the mist.
Yeah. So she's standing there, and then the light shifts.
Yeah.
It encompasses her.
It encompasses all of me. Now everybody's looking at me, and I'm like, I feel like the light's on me. And everybody's like,
But you look at the grid.
But the grid itself,
it's still pointing straight this way.
Never
but the
moved.
light shifted. And when this
it was a weird feeling.
When this mist finally dissipated, it kind of swirled and sucked
back into the grid.
Into the grid, the light sucked itself back in and went off.
And then it poof. And so we were like, oh, I bet the battery died.
Yeah, it must have sucked the life out of the battery, but it didn't.
We went back over and we pushed the button. It came right back on.
It was really, really cool.
It was insane, yeah.
And I grabbed a bunch of people that were also, because it was a group investigation. You broke up into your own team. They let you have run of the place. But I was like, come here.
Yeah, we were trying to show everybody. We're like,
check this out. Come see what we're seeing. And so several different groups saw it.
Yeah, it was crazy. I wish we had filmed it.
Yeah.
So now that we'll go right back to the same basic principle of 2 people.
Yes.
Now, do you guys have any extra gifts as far as psychic?
We are highly sensitive people.
Yes.
And we are empathic. We feel things. And we may have other gifts. I'm not saying we don't. It's just that I don't think either of us has really honed any of that ever. For a long time, at different times in our lives, we both shut things down and shut things off because of life and things that were happening.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe we have more than we actually utilize. And I'm sure we probably do because I've seen a lot of documentaries on the mind and all that it can do. But
I think, too, that when we are together on one of our road trips and things start it just happens.
It's like a snowball going down a hill.
And our energy becomes more open, and we tend to attract things to us. It's like
we don't, back, we used to think about, where we're going to go to this place. And I wonder, like, if there'll be any activity. I wonder if we'll get any EVPs. I wonder, now it got to be where it was like, we already knew that there was going to be activity before we even got there. And, it was crazy. Yeah. Like, there was never a place, especially that one trip that you were talking about. There was never a place that we went to where we didn't get some type of activity
or know something. And sometimes
or feel something.
I just know things. When I was little, I would know things and I didn't understand why. And I always felt like, because I thought about it, I made it happen. Well, what would happen is I would know something was going to happen. It did happen. And then I was like, I made it happen.
Yeah, I used to think I made things happen.
So you push it away and say,
you don't want to think about anything bad or anything.
You feel responsible for making something bad when you just know. I just used to know things.
Especially when you're raised, like Tracy was raised Lutheran, I was raised Episcopal. But my religion was very much like Catholic. And so I always tell everybody I'm a recovering Catholic, because you get so much guilt that, I would feel like she did, like somehow I caused that earthquake in California. And then I would feel guilty about it. And then I wouldn't want to you don't want to dream. You don't want to think. You just, it's weird.
She used to.
I used to have prophetic dreams, and I had to shut it off because people would say to me, "Don't dream about me." Yeah. So
nothing wrong with that.
On the one particular road trip, we went to Long Island to track down my grandmother's little brother's grave.
Yeah.
I didn't even know she had a little brother until Terry dreamed about her right before my grandmother passed away.
Yeah.
We were in a school conference, and I was worried about going because my grandmother was on the edge.
And she was in hospice in the same room that my mom died in.
Yes. And so she had this dream about this little boy coming to we went to visit her in the dream, and my grandmother said, "Don't worry.
My angel's here." My angel's here. And it was this little boy.
A little blonde-haired boy.
And she said, he was going to help her. He was going to take her with him. And so when I woke up and I'm telling Tracy about this dream, she's like, "Oh my God, my grandmother died. Oh my God."
So I call my mother, "Is Grandma still alive?" And she's like, yeah. And I was like, wow, because Terry just had this dream. And I told my mother the dream, and my mother's quiet. And she says, "Your grandmother had a little brother who passed when he was 5.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I never knew that. So I found a picture of my grandmother and her little brother.
Yeah, it was goosebumpy.
I have it on my computer. I'll have to send it to you. But I showed it to Terry, and she's like, "Oh my God, that was the little boy." And this was years later that I found it. And we did go, and it was pretty cool to be able to go to find his grave. And that was part of our journey.
It was kind of a
thing. And you had no problem finding it?
No. Went to, I looked it up on Find a Grave online. And
and we were so lucky that whole trip. I mean, we've had so many trips that we feel like we fall into things.
I think when you say we had no trouble finding it, we were led to it.
Okay.
I mean, like I was led to that one grave when we were.
We found that was a crazy trip. When we stayed at this row house in,
we were doing Waverly Hills.
Yeah,
we were in Louisville. Yeah.
However you pronounce it. Yeah, that was a crazy. That place was scarier than Waverly Hills.
Much scarier than Waverly.
And it was an Airbnb that had definitely had some juju there.
Oh, my
and
goodness.
Some haunting.
As soon as we got there, it started.
Yes.
I mean, I'm walking up the stairs, me and stairs, but I'm walking up the stairs with my little suitcase, and my friend's husband was by me, and we were both like dragging our suitcases just carefully up the stairs. And all of a sudden, there were all these like paintings on the wall on the side, and they all fell down. And not only did they fall down, they fell down in a stack as we're on the stairs, and we're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And we found the secret room hidden behind
our bed, our bed
that we were sleeping in one room and they were in another. And
that was live.
Yes,
we did that live.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I remember that.
Because we said, hey, if we're going to do it, let's do it live.
Yeah, I was convinced there was some weird guy living in the walls.
Yeah.
And,
but we're like Geraldo Rivera, aren't we? Yeah. We're like, let's do it live.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that particular trip, we had a lot of crazy.
We had a ton of experiences.
Yeah.
You had some real phenomenal times.
We do.
Phenomenal.
And now
we talk about it and we Jones because we want
Jones and bad. Yeah. It's like, oh my God, I miss the excitement and the discovery.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I had the hiccups.
It's
that's hard. It's hard to handle, you know. It's just then at the end, when normally we'd be doing in the beginning of the year, we'd be doing, in October we'd be doing the Paracons.
Right. And the thing is, you know, with our schedule, we've always planned our trips around school breaks. So
holidays.
You know, Labor Day weekend, we couldn't go anywhere, you know? And then, okay, well now Columbus Day, we can't go anywhere.
We never,
you know,
we work Columbus Day.
We work Columbus Day now, well, whatever. And then we had Thanksgiving, and usually we always take a really long, like we used to go have Thanksgiving dinner at like Golden Corral and then get right on the road and head to wherever we were going to go. And, so yeah, that was different. And now we've got Christmas upon us. And I mean, heck, when Doc was alive, you know, the grandkids, like we used to do like his grandkids on Christmas Eve, my grandkids on Christmas morning. And as soon as they were done, which was like 9:00 in the morning, boom, we're in the car. Like we're ready to roll. We left Christmas Day all the time. And then we would, you know, take a week or something. And yeah.
Well, it's really great that you guys have taken the time to be with me. And I know Nicholas was really.
We can't wait. We're serious. Yeah. We want to come up, meet you somewhere, or you guys come down.
Definitely.
How about if you guys come back later on next year, early?
You gotta bring stuff.